When Sami Zayn jumped brands from Raw to SmackDown in August 2025 to challenge Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship, I was cautious. So when he went on to beat Solo for the gold on SmackDown before Clash in Paris, my jaw dropped to the floor. WWE pulled the proverbial rug from underneath my feet and managed to actually surprise me. Little did I know that Sami was about to embark on one of the best US title reigns in recent years. Yeah, I know it was mighty short, given it ended after less than 50 days. It barely lasted a month and a half, yet Sami rose to the occasion and put out something I have no other choice than to call it an instant classic. Join me in celebrating the greatness that was the very short-lived first United States Championship reign of one Sami Zayn. A reign that brought back the best elements of WWE exactly a decade ago. Our story begins on Raw. Actually, it starts out quite shaky. Sami just emerged victorious out of a rivalry with Karrion Kross, someone who needed the win much more, but topic for another day. During the feud, at multiple points it was brought up that Sami never managed to win one of the big ones. He never held a world championship, but he desired it. What happened after the feud concluded hit the viewer like an RKO out of nowhere. It was a change in course, so sudden, you could practically hear the gears grinding. Sami shows up on SmackDown even though he's still a member of the Raw roster. But the show takes place in his hometown, so it's cool. But the week after, Sami announces that he officially switched brands and calls the Blue Show his home again. The strange thing was a little bit back. Sami was offered a guaranteed title shot if he made the jump to SmackDown, but he refused. Adding to the strangeness was Sami's sudden shift in objectives. He no longer targeted the WWE or World Heavyweight title, he set his sights on the United States belt, because he quote never held it before. True statement, but hard to believe from a viewer's standpoint. Let's take a look at the title match between Zayn and Sikoa. First thing that needs to be acknowledged is the electric Lyon crowd. With crowds as hyped as these, you could put two turtles in the main event and it would still be fun to watch. Sami Zayn chants to the melody of Daddy Cool ripped through the arena.
Down, little wasted motion.
The Canadian underdog flies through the air but has to put up with the numbers game. Eats an Uranagi but can kick out. Big Jim Uso runs into assist. Goes down to the numbers game as well, until Jacob Fatu saves the day. Blue Thunderbomb in the ring, crowd goes nuts after the kick out from Solo. Sami backs into the opposite corner, lands another helluva kick, and then...
Can he pull it off? Sami Zayn is the...
Ladies and gentlemen, new US champ, Samuel Zayn. Back at the time I wasn't sure whether this was the right choice. Match was fun, especially with that fire crowd in the background, but I couldn't shake the concern that this wasn't the right direction to take Sami in. Dog, was I wrong. John Cena's final appearance on SmackDown. Rosemount, Illinois celebrates Cena like he's a hero. Thank you Cena chants. Everyone is crying as the GOAT says goodbye to the show he made his debut on. We all know the drill, someone is going to interrupt, and that someone is Sami Zayn. In the beautiful full circle moment, Sami wants to pay back what he received from John Cena a decade prior, a free shot at the US title. Back then it was Sami arriving at the main roster, now it's John's time to leave. This couldn't have been more brilliant conceptually. The following John Cena vs Sami Zayn match ran for 21 minutes, with both competitors kicking out of the wildest moves. They really treated this like a pay-per-view main event match. But you also got the sense that Cena winning wouldn't make any sense, and Sami going over also wasn't the best outcome. Brock Lesnar had the solution for this scenario. F5 to Sami, F5 to Cena, another F5 to Cena. They booked themselves into a corner and ended up with John Cena's final match on SmackDown, ending in a no contest. As an opening segment, this was awesome, but the less said about 2025's Lesnar vs Cena feud, the better. Something I didn't mention was that Sami asked for Cena's approval to continue where Cena left off 10 years ago regarding the United States Championship. Approval to continue the open challenges. Cena thought it was a good idea. Everyone did. So what exactly makes open challenges so great? I'm just going to list off all the reasons in no particular order. The title gets a major boost when the strap is defended week after week. Its prestige keeps building. Nothing kills a belt faster than not showing up on TV. If the champion isn't wrestling at every show, you need to find a reason to feature them on segments. And when you have an ongoing open challenge, you have the best reason possible, a title defense. The brand, Smackdown in this case, feels more a must-watch. A title match every week doesn't just support the championship, but the show overall. Every time you tune in, you get a high-stakes matchup. It's just exciting. The change can happen at any episode, it just keeps you returning regularly. In simple words, you get great matches. Open challenges segments are treated with respect by the bookers, meaning they get many minutes of match time. Sami Zayn is capable of putting out good action with just about everyone. Everyone gets a chance to shine. Doesn't matter if it's an established part of the roster, a NXT star, or someone we haven't seen in quite some time. Let's take a look at all 6 challengers Sami squared up with. Rey Fenix was the first to answer the call. This was the first time we had seen the luchador since SummerSlam. The two go fast, from the moment the bell rings. Fenix is flying left and right, shows the world what he can do. He even turns into Shawn Michaels for a second. Loud "ref you suck" chants after Sami kicks out. What? Fenix goes down after a helluva kick. The way Sami finishes his matches actually gets really interesting later on. Second in line was Carmelo Hayes. I might be the only one to say this, but I wholeheartedly believe this guy is the future. If I had to choose who's going to end Sami's run with the red, white and blue belt, my money would have been on Melo. Predictably, he lost clean, but not without delivering a good performance, while Mentor Miz is tweaking on commentary. Interestingly, Sami scored the 3 count after a blue thunderbomb, usually his signature move. A week after, SmackDown took place in Orlando, Florida, and you just knew what that meant. Someone from NXT was going to get the rub. And that someone turned out to be Jevon Evans. I don't watch NXT regularly, but if everyone there is as talented, it's a damn good reason to follow the third brand. Highlight of the match was a top rope cutter, where Evans almost touched the stars. So high he jumped. Sami retained once more with the blue thunderbomb, establishing it as a proper match-ending move. Next up was Aleister Black. This was probably the least interesting matchup of the bunch. Nevertheless, solid match that saw Sami scoring the W to keep up the good work. SmackDown in Perth, Australia. As expected, the crowd is hungry and eagerly awaiting who is going to answer Sami's challenge. It actually was Shinsuke Nakamura. Bro casually disappeared from TV earlier in the year. I believe we saw him just once after losing the US title to LA Knight, and that was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Shinsuke brought back his Rising Sun theme, which had the crowd singing of joy, because someone escaped Death Rebel mediocrity. Sami Zayn vs Shinsuke Nakamura is a pairing you can put on every card. These two already proved their chemistry during the time on NXT. Sadly, we never got a proper finish as the MFT cancelled the fun. Sami Zayn's Open Challenge era would come to an end just 7 days later. Right before he made his way to the ring to drop the belt, Sami talked to Nick Aldis, bringing up how much the title means and that he is not afraid of interferences. Words of a true champion. After some Carmelo Hayes The Miz shenanigans, it was Ilja Dragunov's music that hit, telling the world Ilja was back and out for success. I must sound like a broken record, but I once again have to say that the match was very good. Some innovative action from Sami on the apron. The point we realized this match could be the one where the change happens was when Dragunov kicked out of the blue thunderbomb. Then a Solo Sikoa showed up on the ramp, briefly distracting Sami, but enough for Ilja to connect a headbutt, followed by his finisher, the H-bomb. To my massive surprise, Sami did not kick out. New United States champion Ilja Dragunov. A very interesting choice. Ilja definitely needs the boost. He seems like a fighting champion type. Maybe he'll continue the open challenges, I can tell. Production on this video started right after the title change. Despite it only going on for 7 weeks, Sami Zayn's US Open Challenge title run consistently made SmackDown worth tuning into. He brought back the spirit of 2015 John Cena, and just like Cena, he elevated the title. He showcased the talent WWE has to offer and put a guy over that deserves it. This is why Sami Zayn's United States Championship reign is an instant classic. Let me know what you think in the comments. You've been watching WWE.
The best things in wrestling.